Alright, next up, balsa Elevons. I'm gonna get them in a pack like this. So, there's how they sit. There can be two ways that they go on. It's kind of confusing too when you look at them because it looks like they're just both flat edges. But the easiest way to differentiate the way you put it on there is how it lays on the trailing edge. So this would be the correct way. Now if we flip this over, you'll notice that I can't get it to go down any farther. We want as much down travel as we can possibly get. So the easiest way is just to lay them on there, and whichever way is the most down is the correct way. Yeah. So this one's going to be over here, and this one will be over here. That's how they're going to go. Alright, so you need to lay these out how you're going to have them on the wing, and then you're also going to cut off some of this material because right now they're just too long. Right now they take up pretty much the whole wing, and you wouldn't have anywhere to mount your motor. So what we need to do is cut off some of that material. You can honestly go as much as you want. The more you go, the less aggressive this wing's going to be in rotation. So what I did, measure 40 over, and then I'm going to measure, I don't know, maybe we'll go 60 over on the bottom, and then I'm going to draw a line, and then I'm going to go cut these. Alright. I usually just put them up next to each other. They kind of look the same, so we're good to go. Make sure you notate top and bottom. I usually write left or right on these too, so it helps you figure out which one goes where. Although the taper should indicate which one goes where anyways. But so now we're ready to go cut these. Let's go cut these on the saw, and then we'll come back in and we'll do some Goop hinges on here. Alright, we're ready to rock. Elevons are cut. We're ready to throw some hinges on this. So, what I do, I use Goop hinges just to kind of get them in place before I lam them. It makes it a little bit easier, especially with these smaller Elevons. It's going to make it a lot easier to get it just lammed out right, so your hinge doesn't move or your Elevon doesn't move downward as you're trying to lam it in place. So, what I do, move this out of the way. Kind of get it lined up how you want it. You can kind of push the wing down to get it level, and then just use your tape when it's near it. You can just get this to hold in place. See, I'm even having trouble doing this. Just imagine trying to laminate it. Not saying it can't be done, I just think this is a little bit easier. Alright, so there's the first one. The reason I use duct tape is just really tacky and it holds on to the foam pretty well. And we'll just go down the line here. Okay, and we'll do one more down here. There we go. We have our hinge started, right? So now what we do, I know this isn't perfectly spaced and it might drive you OCD guys up the wall, but I don't care. That's what we're going to do now. So we're going to grab our Goop, and then you lay your bead. You lay your bead right on top. You can skip right over the tape. You don't need to waste any glue there. Just lay it right on top here. You're basically just using this as a, I don't know, if you've ever used CA hinges, it's kind of like that. It's like taking its place. Because once this stuff sets up, it actually creates a pretty darn good hinge. And then what you do is you want to scrape out most of it. Nice thin layer on the top, because you still want it to be able to flex. Okay? This is just old cardboard that I grabbed. Works good. So there's the first one. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but there is some sheen to the hinge. And then this is one of those deals where you just let it sit overnight again. Let's do the other side quick. Grab our tape. And you do want to leave a little bit of space by the winglet here and the Elevon, because this is where your winglet's going to go. And if you have this sticking out, your winglet's going to touch. You don't want that, because then you got to cut this shit later. That's no fun. So yeah, we're just going to try to get this lined up again. That's a little bit easier. Hold it like this. Kind of helps you hold it in place. And just make sure you're not too close, because this one, it was a little tight. Because you want it on there, but you don't want it to bind. So alright, let's try spacing this one better for you OCD guys out there. One more piece of tape. This one's stuck together a little bit. Okay. And there we go. That's a little better, huh? Alright, same thing. Lay our bead straight down. See, Goop tacks up quick. Just that little bit coming out of the tube there was already tacking up. So, it's actually best to close the cap when you're not using it. A little bit on the edge here. Alright, close the cap. Grab a piece of cardboard here and slather it down. Don't get your fingers in it like I just did. Do it again. You don't want to have anything sticking up. Sometimes you get a couple of, like, your outline of whatever you were just scraping sticking out. Don't want that. There it is, guys. Wipe that off. We got our Goop hinges. So we're going to let these set overnight. And then we'll come back at it tomorrow. And then we'll start laying out our electronics in the bays. And yeah, kind of go from there. So stay tuned for the next video.